Hello everyone and welcome to week 9 of our module Pedagogy in Higher Education. This week we turn our attention to an important theme in university teaching, teaching within specific disciplines with a particular focus on the sciences. Teaching is never one size fits all. Every discipline has its own culture, ways of thinking and forms of knowledge. The sciences, whether natural, physical or applied, come with distinctive expectations, precision, evidence-based reasoning, experimentation, inquiry, and the development of conceptual and procedural understanding. As educators, we need to understand these disciplinary characteristics to design meaningful learning experiences. By the end of this week, you should have a clearer understanding of what effective teaching looks like within science disciplines and how disciplinary norms shape curriculum, assessment, and classroom practice. Let's begin. On this slide, we explore the concept of discipline-specific pedagogical knowledge, or DPK. Educational researchers have examined this idea within two major research traditions, one focusing on the knowledge base for teaching and the other on disciplinary specificity in university teaching. Within the knowledge base tradition, foundational work by scholars such as Lee Schulman highlights three key components that shape an academic's thinking about teaching. The first is the teacher's knowledge about teaching. As Schulman describes, this refers to the dynamic, consensual, cognitive understandings that support effective instructional practice. The second component involves the teacher's beliefs about teaching. These are personal, often untested assumptions about instruction, beliefs that strongly influence how teachers behave in the classroom. Researchers such as Voss, Kunter, and Baumert emphasize how these beliefs shape pedagogical decisions. The third component is the teacher's goals for teaching, what the teacher aims to accomplish through instruction. These goals reflect their intentions, expectations, and longer-term educational aims. Together, these three components, knowledge, beliefs, and goals, form the core of discipline-specific pedagogical knowledge and help explain why teaching practices differ across academic fields. On this slide, we draw on the work of Neumann, Parry, and Becher, 2002, who have been central in shaping our understanding of disciplinary specificity in higher education. Their research identifies two major types of disciplinary characteristics that influence what teachers can do in a given field. The first type is the socio-cultural characteristics of the discipline. As Neumann, Parry, and Becher explain, these characteristics are socially constructed within academic communities. They include shared norms, values, practices, and rules that guide how members of a discipline communicate and decide what counts as acceptable knowledge. For example, scientific fields often value evidence, precision, and methodological rigor, whereas the humanities place more emphasis on interpretation, critique, and argumentation. The second type is the epistemological structure of the discipline. This refers to the way knowledge is organized and produced, its conceptual foundations, methods of inquiry, and standards of proof. Again, drawing on the work of Neumann, Parry, and Becher, we see that in the sciences, knowledge is typically built through empirical testing and experimentation, while in disciplines like mathematics, knowledge is constructed through abstraction and logical deduction. Together, these socio-cultural and epistemological characteristics shape not only what we teach in the disciplines, but also how we teach, influencing the design of learning activities, assessments, and instructional strategies. On this slide, we turn to research on personal epistemology, a field shaped significantly by the work of Barbara Hofer and Paul Pintrich. In philosophy, epistemology, epistemologia, examines knowledge itself, its structure, functioning, and development. In educational research, personal epistemology focuses on individuals' beliefs about knowledge and knowing. Hofer and Pintrich identify three central aspects that influence how teachers and learners think about knowledge. The first aspect is an individual's beliefs about knowledge and knowing, how a person defines what counts as knowledge and what it means to know. For example, some may see knowledge as fixed and certain, while others view it as evolving and contextual. The second aspect concerns beliefs about knowledge construction, how one thinks knowledge is developed or accumulated. As Hofer and Pintrich note, some learners see knowledge as transmitted directly from experts, while others view it as something co-constructed through inquiry and experience. The third aspect is beliefs about the evaluation of knowledge, how individuals judge the value, credibility, or legitimacy of different types of knowledge. For instance, scientific disciplines may privilege empirical evidence, while other fields may value theoretical or interpretive perspectives. Together, these epistemological beliefs shape how educators design their teaching and how students engage with learning across different disciplines. On this slide, we focus on experiential learning theory, which was proposed by David Kolb in 1984. Kolb's theory emphasizes that learning is not just a passive absorption of information. It is an active process that arises from direct experience. According to Kolb, learning involves a four-stage cycle: concrete experience. Learners engage directly in an experience or activity. This is the doing stage, where knowledge begins in action. Reflective observation. Learners step back and reflect on their experience, considering different perspectives and outcomes. Abstract conceptualization. Learners develop theories, models, or generalizations based on their reflections. This is the thinking stage. Active experimentation. Learners apply their new understanding to the world, testing and refining their ideas through action. Kolb's key insight is that learning is most effective when learners move through all four stages, integrating experience, reflection, conceptualization, and experimentation. This model is particularly useful in science education, where practical experiments, reflection, and application are central to student learning. On this slide, we focus on learning and teaching in experimental sciences using the lens of David Kolb's experiential learning theory. In science education, experiential learning is central because students construct knowledge through direct engagement with experiments and practical activities. Kolb defines experiential learning as the process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. Knowledge results from the combinations of grasping and transforming the experience. This emphasizes that learning is not just about acquiring facts, but actively processing and transforming experiences. Kolb's approach is holistic. It considers not only cognitive processes, but also environmental influences and emotional engagement. Effective science teaching integrates thinking, doing, and feeling, aligning closely with the head, hand, and heart framework we discussed earlier. Now, we are going to watch a short video together that illustrates these key aspects of learning and teaching in experimental sciences. The video demonstrates how experiential approaches can enhance student understanding, engagement, and application of knowledge. Please pay attention to how the learning cycle is applied in practical science teaching settings. On this slide,
experiential learning theory draws on the work of prominent 20th century thinkers who made experience a central role in their theories of human learning and development. David Kolb synthesized the work of these foundational scholars to develop a holistic model of experiential learning theory.
On this slide, we explore the classic concept of head, heart, and hands, introduced by the Swiss pedagogue Johann Heinrich Pestalozzi. Pestalozzi emphasized that effective teaching requires engaging all three domains of learning: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. The head represents cognitive understanding and critical thinking. Students develop knowledge through readings, lectures, discussions, and reflection. However, knowledge alone is not enough. The hands represent psychomotor skills and learning by doing. Practical engagement allows students to get a feel for how things work and apply their knowledge in real situations. The heart represents the affective or emotional dimension. Students need to care about what they are learning, value the outcomes, and experience a personal connection to the subject. Pestalozzi argued that these three elements must go together. Engaging students' heads produces knowledge, but without hands-on practice, understanding remains incomplete, and students will only fully invest in learning if it matters to them, if it connects to their hearts. In other words, true learning emerges when head, heart, and hands work together. As we conclude today's session, let's reflect on what we've covered. Teaching in the sciences requires understanding both the knowledge base for teaching and the unique characteristics of each discipline. Effective learning engages the head, hands, and heart, combining knowledge, practical skills, and emotional connection. Kolb's experiential learning theory reminds us that knowledge is actively constructed through experience, reflection, and application. Our beliefs about knowledge, how it is constructed and evaluated, also shape how we teach and how students learn. By integrating these insights, we can design learning experiences that are meaningful, engaging, and applicable. In short, effective teaching is holistic. It develops understanding, skills, and motivation. To expand your knowledge and gain a deeper insight into these ideas, please refer to the key references provided. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to continuing our discussions in the next session.